evening and welcome to episode 209 of the Talking Wednesday podcast. It is Jack and James.
It is.
Yes. Yeah. I said your name first and that really threw me.
I was...
Yeah, we're here for the Talking Wednesday 209, but also for Sheffield Wednesday versus Norwich City, but it's the other way around because we're away. So it's a little bit of a watch along with a podcast, which we haven't done for a while. And I don't think I've ever done with you, Jack. So we're setting you loose on the world.
Yeah, have you...
I think we've done like Talking Wednesday specials, but not podcasts while a watch-along's been happening. We've done like the survival days when it's been all three of us. Yeah,
when it's been all three of us, that's the ones that I've done, but it's never been one of these particular ones,
where I'm just babysitting. Yeah. But anyway, you're going for your little teenage heart. Go on, carry on.
If you agree with me that James, because of shaving and the haircut, looks like the character Jesus from the Walking Dead TV show, please say so in the comments, because I said this and he found it funny, really funny.
It's true.
It's a real throwback to like 2018, 2019. Dexterity box,
it must have been earlier than that, when I had my beard this short. I'll be honest, I did it, and Soph went, "What have you done?" And immediately that's when I knew I'd done well.
Or beard rash. Does she not like having the rash?
Well, it was also a case of like, I was like, "Oh, try to kiss her on the forehead, don't worry." And then the stubbly beard goes straight into the eye, and that's never. Since we've been together, it's like nearly a 7-year-long relationship of like fluff. You know what I mean? Not this. But yeah, it's very close. I can see my chin again, and I can see a second one that's emerged in my old age, which is not ideal either. But I decided to have my hair cut, so I've gone to shoulder length again, and then I also decided to go for the beard as well. But on the same week, I think the reason I did the beard is because I was I was having a crisis about, like, I was just really run down. And I told you the other day that I just had this sty that wouldn't go away.
Oh, yeah.
So it could be a tumor, for all I know now, because, like, it's been here for a week.
That wouldn't go away? Sorry.
Yeah. I've never had a sty that's lasted for a week. I've never had a sty until I turned 28. And then all of a sudden, do you remember when I did that Lake District video where I was in the water and I was like, I was blowing the bubbles in the lake? Yeah. I was really stressed before that. So before that trip, I had my first ever sty. And I notice now if I get really run down, usually due to stress or whatever, I get a sty. So this eye is just blown up at the minute. So enjoy that for your viewing pleasure. Yes. But
we must disclose too that James has had a bottle of red liquid courage, an entire one before this. So
I've had some Vimto.
It could be off the rails.
Yeah, I've had some Vimto.
Some adult Vimto.
Oh my God, he's had a haircut. Dex looks nice too. Yeah. Well, I was about to say that Jack has had the.
I've had. Oh God. Yeah,
he's got the boy band haircut. I'm not going to make a joke because I know where you're going with it as well. So don't even think about it.
No, I'm not planning a trip to Argentina. And yes, I'm feeling very mentally sound, okay?
Anyway, what was the reason behind was it to hide the widow's peak? We have kicked off, by the way. We're on 32 seconds.
Yes, we are. I'm slightly ahead, so I need to delay. I'm on 42 seconds right now.
Speaking of ahead, how is the widow's peak?
It's fine. It's fine. You know what's kind of funny, actually, by the way? Everyone, got me so, like, anxietied up about this thing. So when I did have my haircut, I asked my barber, is this a receding hairline? Please be honest, yes or no. I won't mind either way, just to confirm or deny internet rumors. And they genuinely said to me, don't worry, you've just got a big forehead and it's as a widow's peak hairline.
That's how it
gaslighting.
Starts.
This is professional hair trimmers.
And
you see,
is that why you've gone for the sort of? Oh, I'm going to drop the curls at the front.
You know what I normally do? I normally force my hair back when I've washed it, but this time I was like, you know what? I'll just let it dry on its own.
After you've oiled up
first, obviously, but
yeah.
But wait, oiled up? What? Whoa, James!
It's just extra shiny tonight. That's all.
Yeah.
This is your skincare routine.
I have started drinking lots and lots of water all the time, so that could also be a thing.
There we go.
Oh, we're playing in the blackout kits as well.
The black outfits.
What
is this?
Blackout kits.
Oh, I tell you what, gather round, audience, take your seats. The curtain will be lifting soon.
We are playing in the black outfits this good evening.
Good evening, as we watch Sheffield Wednesday Football Club. Yes, we're in the black kit this evening. Norwich in the yellow. Beadle kicking it out and kicks it as far as the Norwich player. So they're on the attack at the minute. Kaboodlefish says, I like our home outfits more. I will apologise for audio listeners to this podcast. This is one of those that's going to be less of a structured podcast and more of a... there was a lot to talk about today, which we're going to spread out over the 2 hours of content that is usually in these watch-alongs. But we will be talking about match highlights. It's a bit different. It's a hybrid. We won't be saying Bannon's passed it to this person and etc. like that, like I do when I'm on my own. But we should mention the lineups today and what we think about it. So it's Beadle, Valentin, Awekwe, Max Lowe, Johnson, Shea Charles, Ingleson, Patterson, Bannon, Gassama, and Windass. And then the bench is made up of Pierce Charles, Palmer, Iorfa, Hatsuse, Shalaba, Kabachi, Sissoko, Smith, and Ugbo. And Norwich are through here. Beadle saves well. What's your thoughts on the lineup, Jack?
I think it's quite a strong lineup, to be honest. I'm really happy that Ingleson's starting to come into his own a little bit more, because I know there were a lot of people that had a lot of doubts about him, and he's actually kind of proving them wrong, which I hate to say it, but Jake and I both knew that would happen. Get on my high and mighty high horse again. Cough, cough, Ian Pervader. Cough, cough. He's out for pretty much the rest of the season. Cough, cough.
Ian.
Jan. Same thing. Same spelling.
Jack, bring your audio up a little bit just in case.
Yes. There you go. It's a weird thing, right? So fun fact, I had to reset my PC. Well, I didn't have to reset my entire PC recently. I just had the unfortunate event of installing a dodgy graphics driver from NVIDIA, which caused the boot up with a black screen error. So I then thought, oh no, my Windows is gone, like full factory reset. No, I just needed to download a quick little hotfix.
Is that what the kids are calling it nowadays?
All of my settings and all of my files.
Driver.
And it was all for nothing. It was all for nothing. I just needed...
Were the jiggle physics not working quite right for you, Jack?
The the jiggle physics on all those questionable Skyrim mods were not quite jiggling voluptuously enough.
What have you been playing recently? We do talk about that on the podcast sometimes.
Well, actually, I've started playing Elden Ring on my streams, even though 2 years ago when I last played it, uninstalled it and hid it from my Steam library.
I've just borrowed that. I'm going to start playing it at some point.
I've never played a Souls type game, and after playing it for a few hours, on my Twitch streams or whatever, I can understand why. I can understand why I don't play them, because when I tell you I rage, it's full on like visceral, unbridled, just screaming.
I played Bloodborne in some of my holiday time and got about 4 days in and went, why am I doing this? I'm wasting so much holiday time on something that I'm probably not going to see all the way through. And I don't have the satisfaction of it. I like it and I can appreciate it. I've borrowed Elden Ring. I'm going to probably play it, but it's probably going to be the same situation. Like, the get good mantra only works for me in certain games. Like for me, like I like a game like Baldur's Gate 3 that I have completed on honor mode. That, you know, is like that difficulty is a different thing. It requires strategic thinking rather than just knowing the games and the pads and
sorry, I was just that was my facial reaction to a moment in the game at 6 minutes and 6.5 minutes.
Can we have the score up, please? Carl, on this stream, we can't, unfortunately, because when we do combinations where it's two of us, I can't do what I usually do.
Yeah.
I could probably pin it in the chat. Give me a second. Keep talking, Jack.
Oh, speaking of television coverage as well, because you were talking about this being on Sky and all the rest of it. What do you think to the Sheffield Derby being moved off of a mainstream Sky channel and onto the Sky Sports Plus?
Annoying because I'm streaming it and I'm going to have to use the app.
Yeah.
Which is quite annoying. No, we're not doing Dex drinks. It's obvious that I've got a cup of tea in my hand. See, Bob, it's different. It's all different when we do the Talking Wednesday style thing.
I know what you were drinking a full bottle of pre-stream.
Yes, Ribena.
Is it tea?
Yes, Ribena. It's a Tuesday night. I'm not a degenerate. Jack. Tea. But yes, you were saying about the I'm annoyed that it's moved. You're ahead of me, aren't you? Yeah, that was a very close from a Wednesday corner. We had a corner there. We took it, headed just above.
Sorry, I need to remember that.
So it's all right now. Yeah. Jack's squeals will give me a sign that there's something coming, I'm sure. We are 7 minutes 53 on mine. What are you on yours, Jack? Because if you're slightly ahead, people
I've
can...
literally just ticked over the 8-minute mark. 8 minutes and 5 seconds now.
Okay, yeah, so you're 3 seconds ahead of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. KG says Norwich 4-0. House MD says 2-1 to us.
See,
Worko drink.
It's a very similar game to
Isn't Rogaine a hair?
Rogaine.
Isn't that like a hair growing drug?
Oh, for God's sake. I think people do this because they know I'm easily wound up.
Have you got a poodle recently, by the way?
No. Oh,
because I wondered if that's how you're contributing it. You've like shaved the poodle and stuck it on the top of your head, which is why you got the curly bit beyond your widow's peak.
Look, it's not even a toupee. It's my own hair. I've just not gone like Wall Street banker with it like I normally do. I know, Andy.
Free kick for Norwich here. Getting organised. One of their players is literally in our net. Oh, it's a corner, actually. Looks like a free kick set up there. But I love the sky angles. Yeah, and no, as you were saying about the United game, no, deflected out. Wednesday clear. It's going to come back in.
I swear that Norwich player just attempted a scorpion kick.
Possibly.
Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, I'm not happy about it because it means I have to watch it on a small phone again, rather than watching it on a screen and be like that with my eyes. When we do the stream it'll be a normal dexterity watch on Sunday. I've not decided what we're doing with the podcast for next week because it follows the derby. We've got to do the draft update. You've got Armstrong. You've had Armstrong since January.
Yes. Yeah.
Jake Scott.
Because that was the thing, wasn't it? That
yes. Jake Scott, how to say. I've not actually done the random draw yet for who I've got. So I had Iorfa as my change. Now that's kind of going into a draw select. And I think I've got to look back on exactly what I said, because I think I said you can pick from a pool or it'll be randomly selected from a pool. So I have to look to see who I get out of that. But in March, in this next international break, we'll be changing again. And obviously, because Iorfa's back, I want him back unless I've got him again. Because he's going back into the pool. I could eventually get him again. But yeah, it's going to be all of that. I've got a Galaxy, mate, but it's just the screen's not that big. And that's the annoying thing about trying to get the
because the big ones hurt, don't they, James?
We're not past the watershed yet.
It's just the right size.
Long throw from Wednesday. Ingleson goes for it. Banning goes to the left footer. It bounces off him. And we're 11 minutes in and Norwich are on the counter-attack. There's enough Wednesday bodies around them to break it up. It's
very free-flowing so far, which
it's very 50-50.
But it's nervous when it gets to our end. It's like, it's a good one for the neutrals if they're even bothering to click on this one on the Sky Sports Plus feature. But... No, it was like this at the home fixture as well, actually, for most of the game, which I was there at. So, armchair fan, you can.
How are you feeling about our outside chance at the playoffs, then, Jack? Let's talk about that.
I'm just satisfied that we're not in a relegation scrap so far this year. Because we could get dragged into it if a few of those teams at the bottom start going on massive, ridiculous runs. Which potentially could be Plymouth with their manager that has come in, because he's most of the time got them playing quite well. They just couldn't suss us out. But I'm just, I'll be happy if we do get there, but I'm not like overly distraught if we don't this season.
Well, I just think 7 points at this stage is probably too much, even for a push. Even if we were half decent, like, and we had areas across the pitch, and we didn't have the injuries we have, it'd have been a tough ask at this point, given the fixtures. I just don't see it, man. Like, and people that still say it,
I do find it. I mean, there's obviously the big sort of like thing that people are talking about with Danny Röhl at the end of the season, potentially moving on. And it seems weird that story sort of starts circulating, and that's also coincides with when our form really dipped. Did you notice the players kind of really slowed down a few pegs with their effort levels and stuff in matches? And
I could say that's that's possibly.
I don't.
That's probably like putting two and two together and making five. But I get what you're saying. You know, like, but let's talk about that then. It's been all over the shop, right? Yeah. That Danny Röhl is going to Southampton at the end of the season. There's been Southampton journalists, from what I've seen on Twitter, saying that he is Southampton's top choice to replace their manager, and they expect him to be in the position at the end of the season. When you hear that, Jack, what do you think?
I'm taking emotions out of it. I'm not surprised, because they are so much better set up in the off-field sense. Like, the facilities they have, the way that their club is actually run, they've got like middle managers in the right place, if you get what I mean, like a sporting director and all that. The structure of the club infrastructurally is just so much. It's like light years ahead of what we have at the moment at Hillsborough, and I can just understand him having that feeling of like he just wants to go to a efficiently ran club, because coming from like the German national team, from previously Southampton, from Bayern Munich, from having the assistant manager Henrik that's come from like the Red Bull setup. I can understand the frustrations maybe about working in this sort of chancery environment when there's like little to no structure anywhere. It's all very chaotic, and I just sort of feel like the Southampton job is a more attractive pull under this ownership, just because of all of that structure being in place. That means that he won't be as like for example, when he first came in, he was organising the team hotels and all that sort of stuff. Like, he wouldn't have to do that at somewhere like Southampton, because I know we've obviously brought someone in to do that side of the admin for with him, but even so, it feels like there's a lot less tomfoolery. I was about to say the F word, but there's a lot less tomfoolery that would happen at Southampton, you know? So
I would have absolutely no sympathy for him. If he went, in terms of, I would lose a lot of respect for him, purely because I've tried to back him and see it in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
I can also see why it'd be very difficult to work with somebody like our owner, potentially, and I've said that in the past, so everything I still said would be valid. But I would be disappointed that a manager would leave when we have well, that's the sort of thing. It's one.
Oh, it has to be him as well.
Oh, isn't he a good player? Oh, he's one of the championship's best this year. Oh,
of course it was him, naturally.
Sorry, who's he?
Borgia Saints.
I did think it was him, actually, and I'm not done the thing. Oh, I thought it was him. I was actually like, I didn't want to get it wrong, just in case I thought.
Ronaldo, absolute like metric. Ton of like,
it's just too easy.
Just a bucket full of hair.
It's a good little dummy, actually, from there, because he plays the through ball, and it's the second, that little death touch from their number 20 that cashes them out. Beadle should probably be getting a better hand to that, though, looking at it again. Because he gets a hand to it.
The man's hair is that shiny. I'm very concerned about him being around any open flames. Otherwise, we could have a Hades from Hercules situation.
Actually, no, that's traditional gel in it on that. Dude.
Yeah, that's like full on. Like, if it rains, God help that man's eyesight. Jesus.
Yes, but Wednesday 1-0 down. But in terms of next season, I think for me it's a case of, right, if we know this, we better be working bloody hard behind the scenes to sort the replacement out now.
Definitely.
We should have it in place, and it should be somebody who implements a very similar system to Danny Röhl. And because there's going to be
a man who wakes up next to you. Sorry, I couldn't.
That's fair. Yeah. But there's going to be some appeal from it, isn't there?
Yeah. But we know how Chansiri does things. Is he going to have that replacement search going, or is he going to be thinking, well, I've got a manager at the moment, I don't need to do the replacement search because he's still the manager? Because that's how he's done things before.
The disappointing aspect of it is Danny seems to have forced the move barely a year in the job, and he's trying to bail on us. I completely respect what you're saying there, Andy, and I do agree in terms of my old footballing brain, but in my modern footballing brain, I'm not surprised it's the way football works.
Yeah.
Like, we ain't going to get... Do you know, actually, even though Carlos has provided a lot of money, he was forced out.
Yeah, he was.
He would have stayed. He didn't bail, and there was interest in him.
There was, it wasn't even just Swansea. There was like slightly higher up at the time, interest, if I remember rightly.
But I think the problem is, and I think this is again down to Chansiri's doing, back then it was optimism under a new owner that was going to fully back them all the way to the hill. Yep. Now you've got the view of the 10 years of shambles that have happened, and you look back and go, oh, well, this isn't going to last. It possibly could. Under Danny, I actually think it could last, and I think we could make it happen, to be honest. Yeah. But I don't know if Danny sees that. And it's an easier option to go to somewhere like Southampton that's going to bankroll you, that suits your style, that he's going to have more of it. He is going to have a chance at. Whereas with Chansiri, it's more of the roll of the dice. If this was 10 years ago and Danny Röhl was in Carlos's position, there would be no looking beyond it, because you look at an owner that's fresh in with the fresh enthusiasm, that's just going to spend. Why would you go anywhere else?
But even then, I don't think... I mean, Southampton, I don't think can spend a lot of money because they're in a bit of financial trouble themselves. But
their structure, look at the whole, the training facilities, the academy, everything else on a structural level, they are ahead in that regard. I don't think they're a bigger club. I don't, but
historically, no.
It's currently, if you look at the recent history, if you look at the players that have come through there, they are, So it's looking likely that Röhl will be off, and whether that affects the players, you'd think that the murmurings would affect the players, and Chansiri would be within his rights to be a bit miffed at that. But I just hope if that does happen, we rinse them for all they've got.
Oh yeah.
And it's like with Gassama when people are like, "Oh yeah, snap their hands off for like 5 million for Gassama," and I'm like,
"5 million, absolutely not. That's nowhere near enough." Sorry, I'm sorry, but
I'm setting at least 13 million on Gassama. At least,
like 5 million, maybe in 2013, 2012. Yes, that would have been fine because that's the level that a lot of the big transfer fees were at anyway for the championship. But like now, when you've got £100 million players moving practically every summer in the Premier League, for example, and then that trickle-down effect of the prices there, it needs to be 12 to 15 million for me, for Gassama.
Yeah, absolutely. Caboodlefish says, I think this DC is making sure we do get proper money. That's why Danny didn't go in January, right? I'd hope so. Honestly, you know, I can't believe I'm saying this, Jack, and I'm probably going to get stick for this. But this would actually be the better. Actually, no. We lose this tonight, and we lose the derby. Do you know if we're talking about a time for a fans forum when it's probably due?
If
Danny is going, when there's nothing left to play for, and it doesn't look like we're going down. You know, we're not going anywhere. That is the time he should have held his fans forum.
In March, at the end of March, beginning of April.
Yeah, when the playoffs are out of reach, by the way.
Exactly.
And you look safe.
Yes.
That's the time where he goes out, well, here you go. This is what's happened with this manager. Have fun. We'd have seen it very differently then. But he does it in the middle of a window when things could have been sorted.
Yeah.
Oh, cross comes across there. Tell you what, Patterson the past few games, I must say I eat my few words on that because I still don't see him as the person to move us forward. But he just seems to have come on and given that striker's perspective of putting the ball in the back of the bloody net, Jack.
Yeah. I'm still a little bit on the side of I don't know if he's still playing his way into a new contract because I do feel like we need a bit of a refresher with personnel.
Yeah, I agree.
I am erring a little bit on the side of like, let's just move the old guard on to usher in a bit of a new era because I think that's a bit overdue as well.
Absolutely.
But
apart from Bannon, give him as long as he wants.
Yeah.
I honestly don't care. Give him as long as he wants.
I do worry though that his knee injury might be a lot worse than it is.
It might be, but I think if we can still get half a season out of Barry Bannon while you're bringing through a transition,
like
you know, you're bringing through players in that.
Yeah. And then, say if he's phasing out of his playing career, give him the coaching. I know he's been doing his coaching badges, but like give him an academy manager job in, one of the teams or something, or make him the number 2 to the under-21s manager or, something like that. Phase him into an off-field, not an off-field, like a technical person's role rather than just keep him around because I feel like it's important to have someone like that at the club because I think what we were missing for a long time under Chansiri as well was just like characters within the club that really got what it means to be a part of the club. Whereas we had a lot of mercenaries and stuff for quite a long time and a bit like, do you remember when it was like 2018, 2019 and a lot of the talk was all about how we didn't have much character and how we didn't have a lot of like cultural identity or whatever at the club. There was no through line of love for it from a lot of the top level people.
Yeah.
I feel like keeping Bannon
when we
around
lost Sameda
after
and
he's
it
finished
destabilized as well, that sort of time. Yeah.
Like, I think keeping Bannon around even when he's not a player for the short term as well or long term or whatever might be the best course of action too. But I'm just worried about the knee injury situation because it's quite the reports were it was quite a bad one, and he's playing through a lot of issues with it.
I think he'll play through it to retires though. That's with this Wednesday looking to try and counter Norwich.
Like just then, that was mental. Like under all that pressure, and he's just cool as you like dinked it over to the right back to Shea Charles.
Yeah, he's got
it. It's that.
He's got the ability that you just don't see. Like we would pay. You think about how much we pay for a Barry Bannon now. Like it'd be ridiculous.
Mad is we signed him on a free when he came. He was a free agent.
I know.
And he was only on a 6-month contract to begin with as well, just to test out. Like, will he do all right? And then that's mad. And the fact that he chose to stay when he'd received very lucrative offers from other teams as well was just
Well, I think that when I see Norwich, I always think about the downturn of Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah.
Because it was the Forestieri. Was it at Norwich or the interest from Norwich or something where the whole drama started back in the day?
I think it was because Newcastle bid after the playoff final season where we lost to Hull. I think it was Newcastle that bid something like 16 or 17 million for him.
Right. Okay.
And then that's what like spun his head, and that's when there was the big downturn in his form. But then it like it was recaptured again. I think Carlos probably convinced him to not have his head spun. But then there was obviously a lot of interest in that second playoff season as well, and I just think, I don't know, he's one of those players that we kept for far too long. I feel when we could have cashed in, and
But the thing is, we do that as well. Like I look at like Windass now, and I think we could have got money for Windass. Like,
didn't we turn down like a £5 million bid for him at one point?
I know we turned down $1 million.
There was, yeah.
I don't know if we turned down 5. I can't remember that far back. I've slept since then.
Yeah.
But the players that we signed, like Adam Reach going on a free, all of that was criminal at the time. And just letting players run down the contracts. Because if you think about how much you pay them as well, you just get no return on the investment. Oh, excuse me. You can tell it's an evening. I'm an old man now, can't you?
Oh, is it past your bedtime, James?
It's
Have you had
past
your
me
Horlicks?
bedtime. I need me
Oh,
Horlicks.
I need me Horlicks to go to bed.
You get me pills, Sonny. I need them to have a good night's sleep. I take 2 and then I'm out for night. Just make sure I've took my teeth out before I have them.
Oh, Deirdre, is me glass ready for me pickled teeth?
You got me bran flakes ready for morning. I think we were out of sultanas. Oh, God, my stream's gone.
What were we talking about again?
Yeah, I think we're talking about this Sheffield Wednesday match.
Yeah.
That sort of thing. Oh,
But
God,
I definitely...
the Pigs are playing Bristol City as well, aren't they, at the minute?
Oof. I do like, though, that a lot of the time this season we've kind of ground out result. We've done that whole thing that typically playoff teams do actually need to do, which is just win ugly sometimes, and we've really like ground out results sometimes, and I'm just worried that that's kind of falling away a little bit, because there's been a few of these games that we've lost the last sort of 5 fixtures, and should we have lost them? I don't think so, but it's all been lapses of concentration, excuse me, that have like caused it, and that's the big weakness I think this side has. That like laser
Free
focus
kick for
and
Norwich
keeping
and
the laser
29-11.
focus.
Yeah, 29-11. Interesting timestamp to give that there. Yeah, that wasn't purposeful.
No. And I'm not giggling because of the very tragic world event in our history that sent lots of troops to their demise. I'm laughing at the fact that the last few weeks, a lot of my friends have been sending me memes about the world event, and I'm thinking over those memes that they've sent me, and
they're just so funny, aren't they?
It's just, yeah. Like, you know, the favorite musics throughout the eras, and then it's like someone playing this song, and then it goes to the 90s, someone playing this song, and then someone goes to the 2000s, and they're just staring at a TV going, oh my God, they hit the South Tower! And it's not music at all. Those sorts of things. They just... No. I've got a very warped sense of humor.
See, I feel like I should be the age where I remember that happening, but I don't, because I was 6, and you'd think I'd remember.
I was 2, so I just remember playing with Lego.
You're just a baby.
While the like horrendous news was on the TV, and yeah,
you're the same age as my sister. I've just clocked that in my brain. You'd be her, yeah.
Indeed.
Bob says, does anyone find it funny that Baz is always in the wall? He is the shortest man on the pitch.
Yeah.
as he's often described by the Sky commentators. And as Soph says, the reason he's not very good on corners is because he struggles to see over the corner flag. When she first said that, I was like, oh my goodness. It was probably one of the best things she's ever come out with. Bob says, right now where we are in the league is our level. If Danny goes, I wish him all the best. You can't blame him with our owner. I can blame him a bit, but I can understand him with our owner. I can blame him from my Sheffield Wednesday perspective of how dare you? You know, like this is unacceptable with my club. And I'm trying to find my headphones because this headphone's doing me nothing. But yeah, I will always have that thing that like sod off then. But I also am very fed up with our ownership situation.
Yeah.
So
I think it's not actually our fan base or our team or anything that's driving these sort of really bright lights away. I feel like it's the owner and how the owner wants to run things at the club. It's not actually the club itself and the history and the reputation and all this sort of thing. I think it's quite literally. I just saw Bob's comment. It's thrown me.
I did as well.
God.
Carry on.
Oh, for God's sake! Because I saw your face and I was like, "What?" Someone said, and then yes, Bob. Okay. I feel like we need some outside investment or just a total takeover, and we need a fresh start. It's like it's 10 years.
We'll get to that in the second half. We've got a second half talk.
Yes, we do.
With all of that.
Yeah.
But Caboodlefish added to there, you guys don't ever want Baz to come on the podcast, do you? I don't know if we've got the contacts to get people in the club on the podcast. They seem to have a line to the other one because they've been very well connected for a while. The one that's been long running. And in fairness, fair play. But in terms of like, I've had a few conversations with old ex-players.
I think if anything
current
like
players, I always struggle with. Yeah,
I think if anything like that was to ever happen, they would have to be ex Sheffield Wednesday, insert title, job, whatever here. You know, I don't think they'd want. I don't think because we obviously present a very frank view rather than hiding things or like not. We give a balanced view on both ends of the spectrum with everything to do with the club, and I think because of that, there won't be the opportunity to have any current people come on, you know?
I'd also probably have to promise them that and show them an example that, no, this would be a one-on-one with me and you rather than bringing Jack on who rants all the time and Jake who might just go off on Chansiri at any given moment and be like, just so you know, we can be level-headed. And Jack's not, the boys aren't always just out to bait. But no, maybe Soph can come on if Baz comes on and says, have you managed to see over that corner flag yet?
Yeah.
Or it's like, oh, if they ever she's like, well, is the player that you're likely to make a statue of and luckily you won't need many materials for it.
Oh, that's so sweaty. Sorry.
Yeah.
This is the problem when you've got the centre backs that would be the main starters out because that was entirely a situation where they've just split the central defence in two yet again. And it's exactly what happened for the last God knows how many weeks since we've had the Bernard injury and since we've had Famuo out as well. It's just depressing. We're fine in the midfield and we're relatively okay up front, but the central defense.
It's just weak, that man. Like we shouldn't be letting them get that far ahead, and then it's just open to drag the pass back.
The one criticism I really have of Poll is that his positioning sometimes is god awful, and he doesn't read where players are going. I
think he's good at dragging the ball, and I think he's good at bombing forward, and I think he's actually good with the cross. I'm not convinced on him defensively yet. But yeah, 2-0 down. Andy says, I think Danny was backed up until he got his head turned by the idea of keeping Southampton up. Now he's kind of backed himself into leaving. I don't think it's DC's fault at all, to be honest. I think that's giving DC a lot of grace, Andy, in terms of I think in the Danny Röhl situation, he could have had more available to him at times. I possibly agree with you in terms of it's not his fault in terms of Danny having his head turned, but I struggle to give Chansiri much credit for the situation he put us in general. Like I've never been comfortable since the relegation. I've never been comfortable with the way he's handled the fans or the media or anything in general, really, like constant press statements. So I'm always going to have a little bit against him in that regard, even though I've tried to be very level-headed in the past. I do think it's going to take a proper rabbit out of the hat miracle, sort of, for him to be able to ever turn this around. And the chance he had was Danny Röhl, I guess. And that's where it's gone.
But if you actually look at it as well, though, it can actually be seen as DC's fault a little bit with driving Danny away, because Danny's always said that he wanted a sporting director to help him out a lot with a lot of the handling of, like, where to send scouts, all that, dealing with all that side of stuff. He wanted that sporting director. Chansiri doesn't want to hire a sporting director or a director of football or whatever you want the title to be. Danny wants facilities that don't get frozen over constantly, meaning that we have to train on the Hillsborough surface. We haven't got that, and we won't get that under Chansiri until it's the Premier League. We may not even... There may be a situation where Chansiri, we get to the Premier League and goes, oh no, actually, I need a big chunk of this money because I need to pay off all of those loans that are, that are credited to me being in debt and not the club, if you remember from the books coming out. And there's like, what is it, like,
oh
god, 70 million pounds or something
in the box here, dragged back, ricocheted off a Wednesday player and then cleared. We just look so poor this evening, man.
Yeah, we don't look very cohesive. It's a bit all over the place. There's not a lot of like when we're moving forwards with it, there's the shapes just sort of dissolving, and there's no... Everyone's just kind of thinking that someone else will get the ball when we're, defensively pressing as well. There's no, like, impetus from anybody. There's the shape when we're going forwards, just like the midfield's going all over the place. There's no one actually getting properly anywhere near the box as well. So the crosses when they come in are just going to nobody, and it's so frustrating.
We're playing that high line still, though. If you look where our defense is now, literally, we've still got the identity, and that's what Danny has instilled in these players. Even like when we look flat in general, you can see what's trying to happen on the pitch, and that's my thing. And I know Andy's just said the thing about Chansiri not having limited funds, etc. And I wouldn't say I never said he forced him out, in fairness, but what I would say is there was a real chance that I still don't forgive Chansiri for not being the bigger man in January, by the way. That's where a lot of this comes down to, because our transfer window could have completely changed us. So he says, did you say you forced him out, etc.? Fair enough, if that was the case.
I didn't mean unlimited funds. I meant in the long term. Why the hell did we spend the 10 million? Like, why did he listen to fans with that survey thinking, oh, I can get the fans on side here, going, yeah, sign Jordan Rhodes. Nobody actually wants him. And a lot of the time, the fans were actually saying that as a bit of a joke, like the Ben Marshall thing. Why the hell did we spend £10 million on Jordan Rhodes? That could have got us a new friggin' training ground.
And I'll be honest, Jack, I'd be absolutely willing to forgive all that if I didn't see things in January this season that were affecting us, which have affected our current manager and our current situation to the point where he's probably going to go to Southampton. And it's the case of he was possibly going anyway, right? But also look at the situation where if Chansiri had swallowed his pride a little bit and talked to Danny at the start of the window when we'd got some of those players that we were looking at and wanted, and actually went to other clubs. If you look at the players that went on loan to other clubs, etc., and were gone in the first 2 weeks of the window, if we'd have stopped having the bickering between Chansiri and Röhl, and yes, Röhl's got to take some for that, I guess, but Chansiri is the owner. He shouldn't just be waiting for his manager to come to him. We could have had more of a chance this season, because even without it, we still had a bit of a run. You know, without a striker who can score the bloody goals, we've managed to stay in and around the playoffs. So I just think if we'd have got that window right, then we could be looking at a different situation. And we had the opportunity to do that only 2 months ago. You can't go hell to leather, but we could spend very similar to what we did if we'd have just been a bit more clever and made the plans a couple of weeks before. By leaving it as late as we did, we were struggling.
And I'm not talking about directly signing Rhodes forcing Danny out, Andy, obviously. I mean, all of these things add up over time. Getting players in, paying them Premier League wages constantly, not really seeing, even the promotion teams that are running themselves sustainably that are going up and coming down and going up and coming down, they're still not paying their players that much money. They're also the choice of not getting sponsorship in that is lucrative and bringing in that income stream, milking the fans for all of that money, asking for prices that they can't afford and therefore driving fans away, meaning less fans are buying things, reducing that income stream of the club. All of these things adding up that means that we can't spend much money because we're not getting much in relative to other clubs in the division. That long-term process reducing the club's funds, and then add on top of that now the situation where the infrastructure isn't there. That's the butterfly effect of 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 5 years ago has all brought us to this point where now that we've got the manager in, that actually would be ideal to have with that resource at the club that has been spent on sod all, just like thrown on a bonfire and burned. We can't do it now. And that's what's driving Danny away to a club that can do all of that and that has already got a lot of this infrastructure in place. And if Chansiri had swallowed his pride back then and kept on people like Glenn Roeder to help sort things out on the sporting side, we would have that infrastructure. But he didn't, because he thought he could do better, because he's the one with all the money. And he didn't want to trust anybody else with spending his money. And that's my frustration, is that over time there's been all of this. That's just my long-term frustration, I guess,
and
over everything.
No, I will say one more thing, Andy, and we will move on, like you've just said there. But in terms of being incredibly kind to Danny, I do have that, and I'll fully admit with that. And that's because he saved our club last season when our owner put us in a terrible situation with someone who didn't have a Scooby-Doo for the first 10 games. Right? So I have got a little bit of kindness for Danny, but I will be very annoyed. And you can guarantee that Dexterity Box video where I sit here, do a big sigh, and I go in for 10 minutes when Danny goes to Southampton in the summer will be slating that man as well. But I do have a bit more fondness for him than the owner at the minute. But yes, moving on though, Max Lowe is part of a centre-back pairing. I don't like it as a pairing. I like it in a 3, but we don't have much
in black and white. Yep. with a big Judas. It's like Steve Bruce Part 2. Yeah. The saga continues.
Yeah.
Like that was the original trilogy. This is the sequel trilogy. With the rain on the window effect.
Jesus. Is Steve Bruce still Blackpool manager?
Good question. I'm not entirely sure.
Hello, Punk.
How the mighty have fallen, eh?
What, Punk?
Yes.
That's a bit harsh.
I mean, he falls over a lot.
Not really in the game at all. No, it's his flat as this, man.
So,
who's the dude on the left? Oh, I'm just...
It's Jesus from The Walking Dead. Don't you recognize him?
With the rain on the window effect. I have used... Jesus Christ, Andy, this is when I can tell you've been watching me a while. I have rain on the window effect. I like the zoom in. I like the wasted sound from GTA 5. That's what...
With the Natasha Bedingfield playing in the background. I think it's her anyway.
Oh, what you say? That bit. But
I was thinking.
Is that not? No, that's not Natasha Bedingfield, is it?
Why?
No, I used that. What you say?
Yeah.
I used that one.
Sorry that I got heated, by the way, Andy. It's been in my brain for a while.
Jack's in heat with a widow's peak. Watch out, girls.
Oh my God.
We're into 200 minutes.
It's because the sunshine's come back out and suddenly I'm not feeling dead inside anymore. That's the kind of reality. I guess.
No, I poked the bear. Before we go into
yes,
the
you did.
half,
oh no, bear. Oh no. Oh no. I've just had flashbacks to many a night out when I've been approached and I didn't want to be approached by certain individuals. And oh god,
where is this podcast going?
Oh no. I mean, look, we've got to be entertaining somehow. Sheffield Wednesday aren't doing it for the people out there, are they?
I don't think presenting yourself as a bear is the way to go about it, Jack.
I can't help my genetics.
What demographic do you think we're going for here, mate?
Well, look, I'm just trying to be inclusive, all right?
Oh my Christ. It's half time. I think I need a break.
Half-time. Yeah.
Maybe a whiskey. We will see you in the second half, guys. Chat amongst yourselves. We'll pick it up in the second half.
Good.
And try and see through this. What I'm assuming is probably going to be an abysmal half if Danny's got any energy left to have a go at him in the half time. See you in a bit. I don't even know if we're back on. We should be back on the screen, but you know what? StreamYard's doing this thing where it's broken. Hello. I know we're in the second half, but I didn't even want to come back. How are you? How are you, Jack? Oh, it helped I unmuted you, wouldn't it? There you go.
I've discovered that rather than having a resting female dog face, I have a resting dead inside face, according to chat. So that's quite funny. I was literally just texting someone. That's it.
Yeah, it's a good thing you didn't pick your nose or anything, isn't it? Like, so just left you. Well,
the best version of Jack, the muted one.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, you're unmuted now. Yeah. Oh, look, seeming to have talent. So with what we were doing, Jack, is with what was happening before half time.
Yes,
I set the screen.
Yeah,
I came back. I just checked the phone to see if the quality was all right because I tend to check the audio levels at half time just to reassess. And then I realized we were still live with an empty chair and you sat there. But then I came back in and I looked at the screen and the actual streaming software still had the halftime holding screen on it. And I was like, good. That's not ideal. You're lucky I'm wearing trousers.
Yeah.
Like it's an evening.
See, I got a text from Jake saying you're still on the screen, by the way. And I thought it was winding me up. I genuinely thought it was winding me up. And then I actually went onto YouTube and looked at the thing, and there I was, like 1 frame per second. But
good thing you didn't change flick over tabs, innit?
You know what I mean?
Oh,
Kisama. Oh, straight at the keeper. Good effort though.
Yeah,
but straight at the keeper. Annoying. Oh, and also Smith and Chalobah have come on, and Charles and Ingleson have come off.
So we're saving Charles for the derby then.
Yes. Yeah.
Makes sense. I am going to leave you to talk for a second on your own in a minute because I didn't have time to let my tea brew. And I'm not going without a cup of tea on this performance. Is Norwich going to go through?
Okay, good.
Defended, cleared, ish.
I do think that was a good decision though, because our midfield looked like tissue paper. First half. And then
I know.
And like Andy was saying as well in the chat, there was Shea Charles dropping back to bloody right back at times, and it was just all over the place. The annoying thing that Bannon keeps doing, by the way, why does he keep dropping back and doing other people's jobs? Because that means that he's not doing his own job in central midfield, and that's how we keep creating loads of space for them. Let people do their jobs. I get, Barry, that like your sometimes football brain is way ahead on another level of other people, but you've got a job to do. Stop doing your own job plus someone else's, because that means you're sacrificing.
It's the kind of player he's always been, though, man. Like he's been better this season, in fairness.
Yeah,
and he is the captain.
And I get that he got used to sometimes doing that in League One because of how like easy he must have thought it was in that league. But you're back in the championship now, Barry. Like, trust the players around you to do their jobs. And it's
right, Jack. You can carry on that rant.
But
I'm
yes.
going to disappear and go and bring my cup of tea up. So feel free to carry your rant on.
I get
Just
that he's
don't
skillful
say
enough
F
to do
or
that. No, of
bugger.
course, of
All
course.
right, we are live.
Yes. Although that technically you're allowed to say that after like what is it, like 5 to 10 minutes of the stream being live, and it's now been an hour and 12 minutes. So technically we could say it. We could drop the F-bomb if we wanted. I'm also very big right now. I suddenly got an overwhelming sense of anxiety that if you're watching on the big telly, as which probably none of you are, as Tom Syndicate might say, then you can even see the definition of my nose hairs, which is quite terrifying. But we just seem all over the place. We just seem all over the place at the moment. We've not got the tactical shape. We don't seem to be playing with confidence. It seems to be like no one's kind of recognizing what anyone else is trying to do alongside them. It's all over the shop, and it's very frustrating to watch. I feel sometimes we need to just calm down. Everyone's frantically trying to pass it just constantly, and just chill with it sometimes, you know? Go on a bit of a run maybe. Hold the ball a little bit. Like, stop trying to rush everything. Although, what a ball out from Michael Smith! My God! Then Pato's in a crossing position and doesn't cross, naturally. Barry Bannon having a hissy fit because they didn't do what he thought they probably should have done in that situation. And now we've gone back to the halfway line. Excellent. Wonderful.
I walked downstairs to hear Jack go, "Oh, I'm very big right now."
You're very big, aren't you?
That's literally what I heard as I was walking downstairs. And I laughed a lot.
Oh, what a cross from Johnson to the Norwich player's header. Nice.
Yeah. We look up for it this second half, I will say. 51-32 in.
I think Andy's right. There were some weird tactical ideas in that first half, and I don't know what some of them were, really, but they weren't obviously being executed properly. It's just a bit like it's a bit frantic. The players keep panicking a lot. They don't seem settled on the ball ever. It's very it's like they're itching to get it away from them, sort of thing.
The derby's going to be rough, man, and I'm bloody streaming it.
Oh.
That's going to be rough. What did you say you were playing at the minute? Let's go back to video
Elden
games.
Ring. Yes. And I've also started a thing that seems to be quite popular on a Sunday morning, which is playing an MMO. Because it seems apparently that's the new thing on Twitch that everyone likes to watch. Is World
in the
of
box
Warcraft
Wednesday. Messing up, a bit of a waste that. Tried to deliver it into those. So we got a corner out of it, though, so not a complete waste. MMO Sundays, eh?
MMO Sundays, yes. That's in general, people seem to like watching like World of Warcraft or something, and it's except I'm playing the Star Wars version of World of Warcraft.
So you're not playing Hello Kitty's Island Adventure then? I thought that would be right up your street.
No. I mean, actually, it kind of would be, because it just might be really funny just to see that, you know, like there's a game where it's like a cat presidential election that looks like it might be really funny.
Just get Hello Kitty and make you feel better. Bannon's on the corner, left-footed. Yes, Andy, contrary to popular belief, Windass is actually playing.
Yes.
Edge of the box is Wednesday from this corner. It's going back to Bannon to loop one in, but he doesn't. He pauses, takes it on his left foot, brings it to the corner, lifted in, headed out by the Norwich player. It's going to go to about halfway, and we can try and reset.
Do you know what we've actually missed? You know, the movement that Ugbo offers or has offered a lot this season. We've not really had any really movement off the ball, particularly, or like movement to drag others out, you know, Norwich players out of position that Ugbo has been doing quite successfully a lot this season. And that first half, it looked like that's kind of what we needed, because they were very, very solid at the back.
We were just poor the first half, man. Like, did you see? Speaking of League One, we were talking about before before the second half. Michael Duff sacked at Huddersfield.
Oh dear.
Former
Oh, no.
Barnsley manager.
Oh no. Really gone downhill after he chose to abandon him after that playoff final, hasn't it? Oh
Yeah.
no. Especially after he was giving it the big un after coming to watch the first leg, allegedly.
I was with my
Thinking of a comeback.
extended Huddersfield family the day that happened because it was one of the nephew's birthday parties. So they were all reeling in it. And I was like,
Yes.
And to be fair, like from what I've heard, he's very unlucky with injuries. But it's interesting because I thought Huddersfield might be straight back up, but they're outside the playoffs. They're going to struggle.
There's only one man that can do the job now. Bring back Warnock. I'm sure his wife's fed up of him being at home again.
Going on all the podcasts. It's
that pass back was a bit strong.
Just a pass back to Beadle. Don't worry about it.
It was kind of leathered though, and it would look like it was a bit of a finishing attempt.
James Beadle, he's on it. Don't
no, he's fine with his feet. It's just he can't bloody catch to save his life, can he? The man's got Vaseline all over his gloves.
That's the thing, though, isn't it?
Is it? Oh.
Yeah, apparently it's like it actually helps you catch the ball.
Really?
Which would seem counterproductive to me. But when I was a goalie, that's a penalty.
He's offside, apparently.
Wonderful. Gassama, again, fantastic. Everyone else.
I actually think he timed that run well, personally, but I think he timed that run perfectly.
It does look that way. And the foul might have been on the edge of the box, and obviously he fell with the contact on the second. But yeah, I think he's got a right to complain there.
Yeah. When Andy calls Josh Windass out on the stream, he normally then does something right afterwards.
Is it his MLS season? Is he off to the MLS?
See, it kind of annoyed. Like, do you know there was that interview he did before a match a week or two ago? I think it was a couple of weeks ago, and he seemed very non-committal, and I just didn't like that because of how long he's been with us and how much he keeps saying that the club means to him. Blah 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 blah. Okay, Josh, demonstrate it, please. Stop being so flaky. He always does this whenever there's this sort of negotiation thing to be done. He always goes really weird and flaky and non-committal and, ooh, my agent's sorting it all out, as though it's any other club that he's spent like no time at all. And it just really rubbed me up the wrong way, basically, when he was so kind of blasé about it all.
I'm getting to the point in the season where I'm just like, in a couple of games, I'm going to be very bored, and I'm already kind of getting there. And I'm like...
lethargic, yeah.
Yeah. Which is, you know what? I'd have taken at the start of the season. But I'm kind of like... We've never had to do the podcast when there's been nothing to talk about. Like, we've either been looking up or very much looking down.
Running away from the bottom, yes.
So when we're in the middle, it's kind of like...
what do we do? What do we say? Yeah. I feel like when it's that situation, there's just more like sort of speculation to be done.
Yeah.
Or whatever, like what we'd like to see happen or what we think would be best to happen. Or I feel a bit like, I know it's a very big left turn, but I feel very much like that about Star Wars at the moment. Like, it was the biggest brand in the world.
I've only seen like
now
two
it's
of
just
them. There were three of them.
Like how it's been handled the last 10 plus years, it's just gone downhill, and it's caused a lot of the Star Wars fandom to feel exactly how we're feeling about Wednesday right now. And it was the
I like
biggest
how
turkey
you
in the
text
world.
me to say we've kicked off again, James.
Yeah, because you weren't here.
I was watching Richard Hammond's workshop.
Of course.
I've paid for Disney Plus for the bloody TNT stuff. I'm going to watch the other programs. I caved because of all the Champions League stuff, and I need to stay in the loop for what we do in just general football and my FIFA stuff. Oh,
that was almost what the flip.
Gassama just nearly scored a worldie, but unfortunately we're adding nearly before that. He takes it in the box on his right foot. He's finesse. That is a FIFA finesse shot.
That's
that
like
I
prime
am
FIFA 14. FIFA 14 finesse shot, that was.
If you have watched any of my career modes, it's the only way I know how to score. Finesse into the top corner. Gassama very nearly did it. It just creeps round.
I'd love to know what Danny was just going like, about. Because that was a funny expression that he pulled.
Oh, Barry Bannon's just...
proper, like, Brexit tackle from Barry Bannon out of nowhere there, wasn't it?
Yeah. Bit of a frustration.
Like prime skinhead Rooney era sort of tackle, that was.
Do you know what I am thinking while we're watching this? And I never think this while we're watching Sheffield Wednesday.
What was that head at Y?
Oh, Norwich could be in for a third here. Luckily, they fluff it up completely. I could be watching Liverpool PSG. And that's in my brain as a football fan when Sheffield Wednesday aren't playing well.
Yeah.
And as much as I love to watch Sheffield Wednesday, when we're in this situation of boredom, I'm kind of like, what is the score, guys? Because I'm not going to use Google.
Oh, also random thought to appease the plastics and the tourists that might be watching this. What are your thoughts on the Man United new stadium plans?
Yeah, I was going to actually talk about this afternoon.
After Jim Ratcliffe in an interview came out and said that, like, the club would be bankrupt by Christmas if we didn't do all of these cost-cutting measures. How can they afford to build an entirely new stadium that isn't just expanding Old Trafford? No, it's demolishing the whole thing and building a brand new structure. But yet, they have to, like, cut all of these different costs that aren't even just, let's actually stop paying players 300 grand a week to do sod all.
He's talking out both sides of his mouth, isn't he?
It just frustrates me. It's like... And then, did they get the architect that designed Butlins to come in and do it, by the way?
It does look like a circus tent.
It's literally, instead of the Theatre of Dreams, it's now the Theatre of Debt. And, but didn't Jim Ratcliffe do the same sort of thing at a French club that he owns? Was it Nice or who? I swear he's done the same sort of like... What are you grinning at, James?
Nothing. Carry on.
No. And also it looks like terrible. Like what?
Yes, it looks terrible.
Like a football stadium.
Wednesday through here. Lifted. Can we? Oh, Norwich clear again.
Great block.
Flashes of almost sheer brilliance on occasion from our players can raise expectations. That makes it all the more exciting at times. It is the case of the balance of our... We've got some players like Gassama that make the season more bearable, but then you look at the rest of the crop, don't you?
But to be honest, I also get worked up by Man United because the fans are saying like they're the most hard done by fan base, and it's like, shut up. You've been through sod all this last 20 years compared to a lot
I know
of
Wednesday
clubs.
fans that have got Man United as their second team. I know Wednesday fans that have got Arsenal as their second team, and I don't count them as proper Wednesday fans. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Like I am friends with them, but I'm like,
yeah.
It's because we grew up in the era where people supported, in my primary school, people supported Man United or Arsenal. That's one back. Was that from a set piece?
Yeah.
Did Sheffield Wednesday just score from a set piece? I'm pretty sure. Hang on.
Free header, Michael Owekwe.
I do need new contact lenses, but Owekwe's just scored an header from a corner. 2-1. Keeper should be doing better there, but beaten completely by the bounce of the ball.
That wasn't even an attempt to score. That was the attempt to knock it down for somebody else.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of. Do you remember Ross Wallace's cross at Brighton? That
No, because I don't just. Yeah, I do
playoff
remember
semi.
that actually, Jack. That doesn't really help my point, but you seem to hone in on that one frigging season with everything you ever say. Have you ever noticed that?
Because that was when I had lots of joy about Sheffield Wednesday.
Do you remember Ross Wallace in this? You're like one of them waddlers, right? Oh, I remember when.
Let me have my joyous era, okay?
But for you, it's
please.
bloody Ross Wallace with his interesting running stance and sleeves of tattoos. He had sleeves, right?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He was tattooed to heck. You wanted to talk about something as well. I started accidentally talking about it first half, and you were like, no, but that's a topic for the second half.
Yes.
You didn't sound like that. That was just me putting on a voice for comedic effect.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Didn't notice that. There's takeover talk. People, there's a lot of things floating about on Twitter.
On X,
formerly known as Twitter.
I love how that's the standard thing that everyone always says, by the way.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
About people, fan groups bringing potential investors to Takeover Wednesday. There was the Wigan link, the guy who wanted to buy, who bought Wigan or something and bankrupted him, allegedly, or whatever it was. I will say on this, I appreciate fans trying to make a stand in all of this. I know for a fact some of the people that are saying it are talking out their arse. Some of the people that are saying it, from what I've heard, have got some legitimacy in there. And I'm not going to say who was what, because otherwise that stirs the pot more than I'm intending to on this podcast. But also, it's a case of I am not comfortable with us bringing anybody to the party that's going to be worse than Chansiri, potentially. I am not anybody but Chansiri. I'm close.
Yeah.
But there are people out, and there's a lot that I could say anybody but Chansiri. But there's a few that have been touted around with proven track records of not being that good for football clubs that I don't think we should be bringing anyone anywhere near. But what are your thoughts, Jack?
Sorry, I just got distracted.
Just nearly scored. Yeah. We nearly conceded from a corner after scoring one.
I feel like there's a little bit of, you know, when like you're trapped in a relationship with a narcissist and they keep telling you, "I'm the best you'll ever find. You'll find no one better than me. Who's going to treat you better than I do? The next person you'll get with is going to be even worse than me." Like, it feels a bit like that sort of a situation with us and our ownership a little bit. And I feel like we've been gaslit into thinking that there's nobody. Yes, please. But there's nobody that'll like come in for us and want to buy us and this, that, and the other, and nobody wants to take on the challenge of because we've got so much that we need doing to the club and this, that, and the other. And I feel like a lot of that is just a tactic to stop people talking about it, because I don't think, like, you wouldn't. Like, say someone's talking about your YouTube channel, saying, we want you to sell your YouTube channel because we don't like the way that you're running it and how you're doing it.
How much?
You're not gonna but like, you're not gonna then say, "Oh, well, I agree with that." Actually, when you're actually so convinced that you're doing the best possible job in the world at running it, you're not then gonna say, "Yeah, actually, I agree. I've not been very good."
The people who are like, "Where's Sheffield Wednesday career mode?" would disagree with you, Jack.
Yeah. But even so, you'd be like, "Well, no, find someone better than that can run it. I dare you." And then even when they do, and then it's like, "No, but I don't want to get rid of it. So I'm going to just double down on I don't want to entertain this because they're not business people that have brought it to me. They're fans. They should just consume, and be happy with what I give them." And it feels like a bit of that after the fans forum to a certain degree. But like, it's understandable that Chansiri does care about the club. It's obvious that he does care about the club. I just don't think he cares about the criticism he gets when it's like, "Well, this is my thing. What gives you the right? You don't own any of it. I own this thing. What gives you the right to criticize XYZ about how I have it. You know.
But unfortunately, in this country, football clubs are that way,
Yeah.
which is why fan ownership
And I
models
don't-
in other countries are appealing.
Yeah. And I
You know?
don't think he's ever really got that.
No.
I don't think that part of the football club being a cultural hub has ever really hit home with him. I think I think he probably sees a football club as more like a cinema than a. Do you know what I mean though? Like,
No, I want you to carry on.
like, you wouldn't be bothered if, I don't know, the View Cinema in the Meadowhall Retail Park.
Other cinemas are
You don't-
available.
other
Sponsorships
cinemas
are available on the
Well,
channel.
you know what I mean.
Reach out.
Like, you wouldn't care if that changes hands because it's a cinema. Like, whatever, who cares? There'll still be there's cinemas everywhere. And I just kind of think that he views it as a bit like that sort of an entity, not like a cultural hub, and I don't think he gets that. That's all. I'll shut up.
I know, I get your point, but it's just Jack statement from work over the night. Sheffield and
This is why I like pre-recorded things, because I can think about what I say, and I can script it, and then I can read it from a script. I need to work on explaining things cohesively on the fly. All right,
it's fun.
But I just don't
Sheffield
think the cultural
Wednesday.
hub aspect has hit home
Sheffield
with him.
Wednesday owner sees football club like cinema.
It's because you're supposed to buy the tickets and watch the show and then go home and eat your hot dog and drink your drink.
You go home and eat your hot dog. What are you doing, cinemas?
I don't know. Oh, for God's sake.
Well, I'll mind this at the start of the film. But Sophie's just messaged me as well. I think she's just tuned in and just now, and she's just put, did I just tune into Jack having a breakdown?
Yes. Yes, Sophie, you have.
Oh, free kick for Wednesday here. Well, not the edge of the box, but close enough.
But, by the way, fan-led takeovers can actually be very successful, because that's exactly how the Birmingham City takeover happened.
If we have a rich fan that just wants to put their money into it, I'll do it. I'll be the Wednesday CEO. Okay? And then we'll sign players that are really pacey on FIFA. How does that sound? Having said that,
Or
if we'd have signed some of the players that I signed in my FIFA 15 career mode, just saying now, we'd have quite a good team. Oh, we're going to score from another set piece here. No, we're not. Norwich against... Oh.
This is very scrappy.
Headed
oh my
back
God,
in, it
it's
is
like a reverse
very
PPR
scrappy.
situation. Yes!
How has that got in?
Oh, look at that. Andy's correct.
Josh Windass.
It's Josh bloody
It's
Windass.
Andy's favourite player.
It's Andy's favourite player. Yes!
The guy in the crowd.
But as well, right? If there's a rich Sheffield Wednesday fan that wants to buy the club, and you wouldn't know how to do certain things of how to run the football club, that's why you hire sporting directors or you know, the director of this part of the club, and you just go, here's money, have fun. You know, like. Andy's really doing his best Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in Moana impression right now, isn't he?
You're welcome.
He's popping the animated pecs and everything.
But with that beard, I won't. What? I think she's sassing me for something, and I can't understand now because I must have said something on stream, and she did a really
Someone
good
sent me a text
one-line.
in the first half, by the way, of I've just tuned in and you're talking about jiggle physics. This is excellent, and it really was. And I was
What?
Yeah, at the very beginning. Do you not remember when I was talking about the Nvidia graphics card update, and you were like,
Yeah,
"No,
yeah.
but your graphics, your jiggle physics have gone wrong."
Sorry,
And
who
someone
texted
sent-
you? Your mum?
No, just somebody. All right,
All right, okay.
somebody.
Hang on, somebody.
Shut up. And they were like, "Oh yes, jiggle physics, excellent. What a great time to talk to join in and watch."
No.
No, I'm not talking about. It's very new. It's very fresh. We've literally been a day from going from Bumble to texting. Other apps are available.
What's his name? Is this another?
So this is
Is
his
this
name is
another
Derek.
Luton
He likes
fan
bears.
situation?
Oh God, no. Oh,
Yeah.
oh no. I that was so funny that day when you said, you know, you remember about the Coldplay concert.
Yeah,
that was so funny. That was
Yeah.
so funny. I don't.
You probably
talk to him
shouldn't
anymore,
repeat
by
what I
the way.
said.
No.
I'd actually prefer it if you didn't,
Yeah.
because it's probably offensive.
Yeah.
If I remember, because I was a
My
couple of
jiggling
bottles of wine deep at that
his
point.
grinder app going off. Shut up, Jake. Dear God,
Norwich
man.
could be through here. Good defending from Wednesday. Good header out. So, I'm going to have to dig for information here, Jack, at some point. I won't do it live on air.
Oh, good.
But you do realise you could have played that off completely different, but you've just not got. I think. Actually, sod this. I could see right through you. You wanted us to know. Otherwise, you'd have just gone, oh, yeah, mate.
Listen,
mate
when you
watches
have
the stream.
months of being barraged
Instead,
with Jack
you wanted to go,
scared of talking to women.
Somebody!
When Jack is scared of talking to women, Jack can't talk to women. I just wanted to have that little. Wait, what?
Gassama's just scored. We're 3-2 up. I was mocking you.
Oh.
We're doing a job here.
Yes. Jake, I know it's quite exciting that we've scored, but I didn't realize it was that level of exciting, all right? Comes. Comes. Oh, that's sweaty. Oh, that's sweaty as anything.
Oh, it's beautiful with the windlass assist
yes.
as well.
Prime sweaty goal.
What is happening? I've got Gassama in my fantasy team in our draft. He might have got me some points since the new year, you know. I ain't tallied any of it up yet.
He's such a wholesome dude. Like the little smile. The little smile he just gave someone, like, it was me.
I'm going to get Jake a t-shirt for Christmas that just says "Comes" on it.
Comes. Welcome to the.
But yeah, anyway, back to you wanting us to know about your romantic interest. That is very obvious.
When you're barraged with lots of messages or whatever else going like, oh, Jack doesn't know how to talk to women. Jack's scared of women.
Who's got the energy to barrage you with messages?
Oh, I get it all the time. I get it in the neck.
Oh, I'm so popular. I'm on one tonight. I'm sorry, mate.
No, it's fine. You've had red wine. It's fine.
Not that much.
I get it.
Oh.
You mean a whole bottle isn't much? Okay.
I never said I had a whole bottle. I've had a couple of glasses.
Uh-huh.
And genuinely, I have had a Vinto. That wasn't a joke.
Oh, right, okay.
After the red wine, I had a couple of glasses when I'd finished some work.
I love the last couple of weeks. There's been like opposition players that have been trying to give our players stick. And every single time, Michael Smith's come in there like the hard nut older brother, like, you wanna mess with someone, mess with me, Sonny Jim. And he's just done it again.
Danny Röhl masterclass currently, by the way. It's going to be so sad when he goes to Southampton.
Don't be scared. Shut up, Sophie, right? Look, let me have my proud moment, okay?
Proud boys.
Proud boys.
Norwich with a free kick from the left-hand side here.
Norwich.
Oh.
Who are you? Let's be having you. That's an iconic video. I hope that Twitter is full of people atting Norwich City or whatever with that video from the Wednesday fan base.
Let's be having you.
Let's be having you. Who are you? Like, please. Wow, I got 3 whole. Oh, for God's sake.
Read the comments because this is going out as podcast form as well. So if you're going to react to a comment, read it for the audio listeners.
Yes.
So what you were reading, finish reading it.
Oh, sorry. Oh, for God's sake! Of course you were going to make me do
You
this.
started, so you'll
Yeah.
finish. Mastermind this.
Mastermind. Oh yes. Wow, I got 3 whole words. That's progress. This mystery woman is doing wonders. Hope you are paying her well, says Simly Sophie.
Mm. Have you actually agreed the contract yet? Or
I forgot. Like, I love that you're going down the whole contractual obligation route. I love it so much.
well, then
We
again,
were-
she
we were
might
about
see the
to say how
widow's
else
peak
would
and
they
just try
ever-
and get in your will because she might not think you've got long left. She sees the
Yes,
widow's
this
peak,
might-
thinks, "Oh, he'll be balding soon," and then if I just hold out for 5 years, maybe.
You never
I'm
know.
sorry,
I
Jack.
could actually be on a really, really subtle and not very hard-hitting form of chemotherapy, and that's exactly why it's the widow's peak.
Let's not.
It's retreating slowly over time. You know, it runs in my family genes. Anyway, that was a very dark joke. Like,
Yeah, you took that to
Yeah.
a place.
I took that to OF. Oh, for God's sake! Caboodlefish says OF isn't a contract.
Anyway, no, because
Anyway, no.
whatever innocent victim of a woman you have brought into your life, she doesn't deserve us speculating about it on the internet. So we don't want to make her life even worse than the thing she's already let herself in for. So,
Well, considering
There's
all of
that.
this, if she's witnessing this,
You what,
at
sorry?
all- Considering all of this, if she's witnessing this at all, she's never going to talk to me again anyway. So
I am actually,
damage
believe
is
it or
done.
not, a nice friend. I don't leave him in, even though I wind him up on the podcast, I
Yes.
don't leave him in Leeds on a night out.
yes. I think Jake has got a ping of 7,000 because we've already seen Baz go down and then get back up again.
No, he's telling us to do
so-
our job and mention what's happening in the game
Yes.
like we're supposed to be doing, I think.
Well, Barry Bannon went down. He seemed to be clutching his knee that has had the injury.
Jake,
trouble
did you
with
realise Barry
recently.
Bannon went down actually there?
Yeah,
He could be injured.
actually, did you see the Barry Bannon went down, Jake? I don't think you saw it. No, I don't think you saw that.
Could be
No?
any injury. No, he doesn't. No, in all seriousness, though, if that is a proper injury and his knee's getting to a point where he's having to come off with it, we could be in trouble.
Yeah, because Liam Palmer's about to come on for somebody. Oh, he's literally Palmer's coming on to replace Barry Bannon.
Yeah. I assume they'll just switch the captaincy as well. You'd assume. He doesn't have the ban, though.
He doesn't have no. I wonder. Has Josh Windass got the captaincy armband? Maybe.
Change the score up to... Oh, yeah, I put the comment in, but I didn't pin it. This system's really annoying.
Yeah.
I must say, to say I didn't want to come up for this second half, I'm kind of glad I did.
Yeah.
Oh, I just can't get over Jake going, comes!
Yep. Comes. When we
It's
do a
horrible.
20
It's horrible because he
2025
probably had a
season highlight
seizure
reel, that
at
needs to
some
be-
point
yeah.
during that and didn't put come on.
Yeah.
But it
Comes. I think he tried to write Gasama and his autocorrect has really screwed him over. Because it's done that to me before. I wrote Gasama and it's changed it to some other word that's not Gasama.
comes.
Not quite that, though. I mean, maybe... Look, I've heard, right? Oh, you would be right, Dex. I did... Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah. So Gasama's not the only one who's been dribbling during this match.
Oh, my God.
Love you, Jake. Hope you well.
Love you, Jake. I know... I'm pretty sure jokes like that are what cheer you up at times, like what you're going through right now. So you
Yeah,
know.
that's the only reason I'm actually saying
Yes.
it, to give him a laugh in
Yes.
these trying times.
Yeah. I mean, with the word comes, I think he was dribbling not just from his mouth.
Oh, okay, enough. There is
Enough.
children
Look,
probably
it's-
that are in
I mean,
the
it's-
cards of the
the watershed's
parents
over,
listening to
all
this
right?
podcast.
The watershed's over. It's 27 minutes past 9 in the evening.
No, it is here, but you forget this goes out on audio services, and it doesn't
Mr.
have an
Worldwide- are you
explicit filter
Pitbull?
on it.
Are you Mr. Worldwide?
Yes.
Yes.
I am.
Mm.
Well, I've just paid a fortune to renew the podcast for another year, so it's going out on audio services. Yes,
I didn't actually really explicitly
Can we hold this out
anything.
for the next 6
that
minutes?
Was like
Jack, is
what
question.
I've just said. That was like one of those jokes they put in Pixar movies that only the adults get, but the kids don't.
Yeah.
So.
Problem is, though, if kids are anything like my generation, I was drinking cider in a field at 13. So I assume young kids are still degenerates at some stage, depending on the level of parenting. Having said that, my dad might be watching that, so I'm not saying it's a reflection on your parenting, but it also kind of might have been. But it's like they might be listening and they might understand what you're saying, so try not to. Is Jack Worko? Yes, he is.
No.
Jack is the man also known. He's like Prince, also without the talent, but still with the painkiller addiction.
Oh, look, I had a caffeine addiction during the big stay indoors, don't see friends phase. Said it wasn't fun. I had to go full on cold turkey to get out of that. It was not great.
I'm sure I could say something clever about that, but
yep.
Wednesday, I've got the ball on 80. My contacts have gone 85-30, I think it is on mine.
85-34 on mine.
Yeah,
right now.
He does wax the same as Prince, though. Yeah. Oh, just don't start making Prince noises. I can't descend into that level of chaos.
To be honest, I was never the biggest fan of Prince, so I don't know the Prince noises.
Ooh, is Soph still in this chat? I wouldn't have said that. Very talented. I didn't get him into some of his stuff until I'm not really like massive fan of the whole catalog, but I can very much appreciate his talent. Yeah, there you go. Soph's she is still in the chat.
Yep.
She likes Prince.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed from the capitalized what? Given that clearly by the name of Sophie and the icon of her account, how happy is? Oh, it's the meme. It's the meme lady Delia.
Delia Smith.
Delia Smith.
Yes, Delia Smith.
How happy is she that The Sims 2 got re-released for modern?
It was great.
Devices.
I bought it for Valentine's Day, and then it didn't work.
They fixed it now. There's a hot.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, she hasn't played it though. She's ungrateful. They fixed it, and then she decided not to play it. Oh, Norwich in the box here. Got to be careful. It's floated. I'd never like these. I think Beadle got a hand to it and then booted out for what it's a throw-in. Good defensive work there.
Oh dear, there's an injury in the box, and now the Norwich players are like,
oh, they're trying to start.
Please give us a penalty, please.
There's a bit of a scuffle.
Please give us a penalty.
Chalaba's giving someone a nice little cuddle right now. Very wholesome. Chalaba was giving one of their players a nice little cuddle, very wholesome from the back. It was fitting of a romantic drama or an Adele music video.
Yeah, it's just a bit of handbags. Oh, you played Sims 2 yesterday. Okay, so the purchase is going for it. Very good. You had to get over the trauma of me shaving my face.
Yeah. I mean, technically.
Well, where is this in the box here from their corner?
Some of the
When's he getting it out?
Textures on The Sims 4.
You what? Sorry.
Technically, your current beard actually matches some of the beard textures on The Sims 4.
Yeah.
As it is right now.
I do occasionally still play The Sims. Occasionally, it's time sync, and it's one of them games that you're just going to time sync, just mess about on it.
Yeah.
But the new update appears to have completely broken my game. So
excellent. There's a lot of people saying that that the new update breaks the PCs near enough.
It's not the PC. It's just I thought I'd jump in because when I was a kid, I really used to like the open for business thing, and the new pack seems like that. So I tried to jump in, and it's just broken everything. So that's always good. Oh God, she's made me in Sims and given me a
great.
beard by the sounds of it. Copium. 1 minute of normal time left. Can Wednesday hold on to this lead, Jack? What we thinking?
I mean, it looks like they can so far because I'm pretty sure that most of Norwich's players are trying out for the Olympics, and they definitely would be getting Tom Daly's spot in the Team GB now that he's retired. There's a lot of the old diving going on. It's like they've iced up the blooming playing surface just for yellow shirts.
Isn't there something like 10k's worth of add-ons for The Sims? I'd probably suggest that it's probably about 600 quid.
I looked,
so not quite.
Yeah, I looked on Steam the other day for how much it costs to just buy the whole lot of The Sims 4, and it's about like 800, 900 quid.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
For the whole selection of all of them.
You can bundle them.
Yeah.
Which brings the cost down a bit.
But the Sims 4 base game is free to play. It's just not a very finished game. It's the EA way. You want to experience
They
the full
brought
game?
soccer
Buy
into
lots of
it,
tiny
though.
little... Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, Norwich, don't do it. Beadle, just sit on it. 5 minutes?
Why is... Oh. Oh, Bannon did go down for quite a while. In all
Not
fairness.
5 minutes, though.
Did Jack explain that joke twice? Yes. For some that may have been hard of understanding humour.
Oh, Jack, you'll be happy. I've written an entire draft to a song today.
Oh!
You've been banging on at me for ages.
Yeah, write new music. Overend needs more monthly listeners on Spotify, so to justify tramlines for one more
I've
year.
actually wrote a song and hummed a melody and everything, so pretty
wow.
much I've got a 3-minute track that just needs lyrics and then making, but all the parts are there, the drums, the bass, the guitars,
about to come on.
The vocal melody.
And
Who
the
is that?
board is not working. Excellent.
Who is this small child about to come on the pitch?
Gassama. Gassama is about to come off and is being replaced by Olaf Kabatsky.
Oh, it's Kabachi.
Yes.
Gassama's just a player, isn't he?
Yeah. Do you remember
Gassama
really
is what we thought Masaba
interview?
might be last season.
Do you remember the really butthurt interview that Cisco gave when he was like, "Yeah, we just got them too early. They were too raw for me to do anything with them. They were too raw. Remember, I signed all of these players.
Yeah.
Couldn't get them to play for you though, could you, mate?"
Punk says Gassama is holding his hamstring though. That is true. Hopefully, it's just a bit of strain.
Do you remember there was that inside training like a month or two ago, and Rob Lee came in saying he just needs to run because he keeps getting these cramps in his hamstrings.
All right.
And he
He's
was
running a lot more
making
now.
a big thing about it in that inside training thing. Oh no, it wasn't inside training. It was that day in the life of Jedi Gassama.
That was really good, actually. I didn't mention that on the podcast. That was good. That sort of content's really good.
They need to do more. They need to do one with all of them. But they just sort of, it's like they keep.
I'm gonna lay off the media team a little bit because I think I've fairly given them stick over time, but they're doing more. They've invested in the equipment. Funnily enough, the same equipment we use on the podcast. But like they're doing the right things now. It seems that they've booked their ideas up a little bit. I mean, I have always said they could have paid me and given me a job and I'd have done it, but they've figured it out on their own. They did get a new media person in, I think, a few years ago. So
I believe it's the son, actually, of Trevor Braithwaite that's doing a lot of it now.
No idea. I don't watch the inside match days, though. For content for me, I don't find them that interesting. I mean, I don't watch them to enjoy. I scan them for the podcast just in case there's anything that sticks out. Because that's the thing when you do a podcast, you have to kind of like scour all the content
when it's at home and I know that or that we've won, because I like seeing the inner workings of Hillsborough. Like I'm just a bit of a nerd like that, but
that's fair enough.
When it's an away fixture, I'm not so bothered.
A minute and a half left of added time. Can Wednesday? This would be ridiculous, by the way, to say 2-0 down at half time. What a collapse by Norwich.
Also, yeah, Bob also mentions the inside match day for the Norwich game, and I thought it was super interesting that the away changing room literally looked like what you'd find at a Sunday League team. It was literally a Sunday League or 1980s standard of
Well, if it's the away team, Sodom.
Yeah.
This has been night and day, hasn't it, man? This also puts us 5 points off the playoffs. It's coming round again, Jack. There's 8 games to play. Is it 8 or 9? I'm not sure.
Someone was saying there's 10 games left before this game. So after this one, I'd say I think 9. But feel free to fact check in the comments or in the chat, whatever, if that's correct. I'm sure Jake will come in with his pushing his glasses up his nose and being like, "Actually, there's 7." With the capitalized AK chully rather than, you know,
actually. That's how every toddler's ever said it.
Yeah.
My sister used to do that all the time when she was little.
10 left. 10 left after this. Oh, okay. I did find it quite funny that Danny referred to the Suns.
No, there's 9
game.
left after this. There's 9 left. There's 10 left including this, but after this, there's 9. The Pigs, Cardiff, Hull, Blackburn, Oxford, Stoke, Middlesbrough, Portsmouth, Watford.
Oh, yeah. That Duffy, Shane Duffy's just blatantly dived in the box there. I'm sorry. That's like, this is dumb. It's so, I hate when the game's played like this.
There's 12 left, including
Deshaun Bernard isn't here for the song to be sung, so they've changed it to 3 points away, ole ole. Because Bernard's injured for the rest of the season. So his song has become 3 points away, ole ole, which is quite funny.
Yu-Gi-Oh mug. Yes, it is a Yu-Gi-Oh mug. I like.
Yes, that's it. 3 points on the road at Norwich. 2 away wins on the bounce.
Jack. Heading into the derby.
Yeah, and a really good comeback. When we looked absolutely dead and buried and terrible the first half.
Do you want to come on the podcast on Sunday?
I'm away on Sunday. I'm in the Yorkshire Dales this weekend.
On the day of a Sheffield derby?
Yep. I decided to whisk myself off to the middle of the Yorkshire Dales where no one can hear me cry when we lose at home to that lot. Although technically I actually will be on the M1 throughout the course of the game.
Has that chair got arms on it?
Yeah.
Just checking. Anyway, we will wrap it up there for this week's episode of the Talking Wednesday podcast. Anything to add before we leave today, Jack?
Just thank you for a good episode. It's been fun. I hope to think that the chat's had fun with me and you, with me and thee.
Audio listeners, I know that was probably a bit wild, but thank you for if you stuck this far with us. These aren't obviously
I love the question
topic.
of if.
Yeah, if. I mean, you put up with it by now, but yeah, guys, thank you so much. We will see you next week with some content. But remember, on this channel, I will be doing a dexterity watch for the Steel City Derby. Very much to my sadness, most likely. But you never know. If we play like we did in the second half, anything could happen. But for now, guys, as always, that's my sign off, not the Talking Wednesday one, because we're streaming. I got that. Take care, guys. We'll see you in the next episode of Talking Wednesday. That's why you say bye.
Bye.